In the name of our ancestors, peace forever and always, and welcome to another edition of what I call the RealitysTemple on Earth Internet Ministry. I am the host, the gatekeeper of this particular program, known here on social media, wherever you may find me. I am known as the mighty Angel Snub 7. I am your soul brother number 1. With that said, I want to say to those who may listen to this very short broadcast that my telephone number is available for what it's worth. Should you ever have thoughts that could threaten your life, I know this can happen because I've had these thoughts myself. A few years ago, my cousin committed suicide. I come from a very dysfunctional family, and there are not a lot of people of whom I associate with and very close to in my family. After the matriarchs, the older people in the family, once they became or joined the ancestors, then the younger people don't have that, what's the word I'm looking for? But they don't have that, what's the word I'm looking for? But that closeness. They don't care about family like the older people done. The older people would call each other and stay in contact, and you know who your cousin was, you know who your uncles was, and aunts and so forth. They kept up with all that. But once the older people began to die off, and I just recently lost the last of my mother's uncles. He was almost 100 years old. And now the younger people just don't care about trying to keep your family and for us to know one another. I could be related to many of you out there in YouTube land, and I wouldn't know. We don't know. But that's what happens when we become so dysfunctional. But this particular cousin, I kept a close relationship with this cousin through the years. And one day, I got a telephone call, and it was almost unbelievable that she had committed suicide. And I would tell you this, growing up in the late 60s, 70s, and 80s, when we talk about suicide, you very rarely thought about a dark-skinned person. That's just something we really did not do. You hear about it now and then, but it's not something that we would do. And basically, I have to say I believe because I really don't know. Many of us have a Christian background. We have a religious background. And in our religious belief systems, it is a sin to commit suicide. So many of us, that suicide is something, that's something we're not going to, that's taboo. We're not going to, you don't want to entertain that idea. However, it's a possibility and it can happen. When you get to the point where you fall into a deep depression, depression is an extreme emotion. Many of us, and it's normal, I'm pretty sure, there are things that have happened in your life, in our lives, that make us get to the point where I can't take it no more. And we want to commit suicide. But then there's something in us that rises. Well, first of all, one thing that stops us from committing suicide is the fear of death. So, you know, well, the fear of pain. Well, I would jump off this building, but that look like that's gonna hurt. I'm not gonna do it. But when you fall into a severe depression, which is an emotion, this can cause us to get to the point where we don't even fear death no more. Whatever it is that's bothering us is so detrimental, so hurtful to us, that we find that death is our only recourse. It's the answer. Just get out of it. I could not believe, and nobody really saw no signs that my cousin would even attempt to even try to do something like this. There was no warning signs. There was no threats. Just one day, she was gone. But I can relate to that feeling of depression, having no way out, and wanting to die. I experienced that on two levels. When I was a young person, I was bullied, and I was made mockery of myself because I was poor, because I was dark-skinned, and because as the young boys that was around me made mockery of you as you grow into puberty and whatever. The boys would get around me, and you know how, well, maybe you don't know, but I'm going to tell you, some boys, they got together, and you know, they talk about their first experiences with the girls, and they look at me because I was not interested in girls sexually. I wanted a girlfriend, but just for a friend. So they would make mockery of me. He ain't had no Poo-Tang since Poo-Tang had him. Y'all guys know what I'm talking about. And then I have to deal with you so black and you dirty and you look like cold baby. And people making mockery because you're dark skinned and you're poor. You know, the ice cream man would come and you couldn't go to the ice cream man because you didn't have no money. Remember that Eddie Murphy sketch? Ice cream man would come, and the children that had the money had their ice cream, and you didn't have no ice cream. You don't have no ice cream. You don't have no ice cream. I got some ice cream. I got some ice cream, and you can't have. They won't even share none with you. And you can't have none. You can't have none. You can't have none of my ice cream. You can't have no ice cream. You know why you don't? You know why you don't have no ice cream? Cause you on the welfare. You on the welfare. You can't get no ice cream. Cause you on the welfare. You on the welfare. You on the. You dropped your ice cream. You dropped your ice cream. But that's a hurtful thing. Putting up with that as a child. And I remember, least to say, a bully that bothers you all the time. Never, relentless. Always picking at you and making mockery of you, hitting on you and all this stuff. I remember walking across the bridge one day. And usually I walk across the bridge because I like nature and I wanted to just watch the pigeons. But on this day, I did watch the pigeons, but I also was thinking about this situation I was in. And I'm looking down at the ground and I'm saying to myself, the only thing I have to do is just jump up. It's over. I looked at the pigeons, I thought for the last time, and I kept looking at the ground below, and I'm like, well, here we go. But again, my depression wasn't so extreme. I still had the fear of death, and I was getting ready to step out there. Then I said, "No, that's a long way down." And eventually, I got over that whole depression thing. I fought my bully back. I learned how to fight verbally against these things, being made mockery of and all. So I was able to, avoid that, getting close to being suicidal. I became suicidal again when I was locked up. And I cried to God. I mean, what did I do to deserve this, man? 1 year passed by, 2 years passed by, 3, 4. What did I do to deserve all this? And it gets depressing. And you're looking out the window and watching people that's free going back and forth. But see, this is another reason why I love Soul Sisters. Because what kept me, I was thinking about suicide. There were people that I was in that institution with that did commit suicide. And you see the body hanging on a doorknob. I don't know exactly how they done it. They took a bed sheet, wrapped it around their neck, put it around a doorknob, and hanged themselves. And I saw the body laying up against the door. They were successful. There were people slicing their wrists, blood everywhere, trying to commit suicide. And I wanted to join. But see, I had a helper. These soul sisters used to come in. When I'm thinking thoughts like this, the first thing the soul sisters want to do, they come in. When they come in to work, where's that guy at? They'll come knock on my door, wake me up, and come on, get up, it's time to go, blah, 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 blah. With their smiles, and, you know, that's why I love women. Females have always helped me. And you think that I'm going to sit around and not defend womanhood, you're very crazy. They are the reason why I didn't sink into a deep depression. Because of the smiles and the care of soul sisters. So basically what I'm saying, there has never been a time in the history of soul people in this nation, we have our children committing suicide. We've never been like this as a people before. We don't see no way out except death. And you have all these people going back and forth on YouTube, but you never have nobody that really cares and shows us that there's a better way. And we do love. Give me your money, but you never hear the people say, I love you. You will hear me say that all the time. I love us. I want what's better for us. So I have my telephone number public. Any of you, if you feel depressed. I have people on social media, they just happen to see my video and call just to talk. A lot of people don't have nobody to talk to. They see my video, I don't know, it look like I'm a person they can talk with. They call me and I just listen. There was a sister, she was going through a real bad divorce. I talked to her, I think, like 6 hours straight. No problem. We need to be there for one another. I should be able to call any of you because it could happen again. Things going so bad. I just need somebody to talk to. Can I call you? We need to have each other's back on these things. We should never be made to feel alone. Not always about getting paid. Always about some money. Praise me. You don't have to praise me. I want you alive. Because there's something great in all of us. And that's what we're trying to do. That's what I want to do from this rostrum. Bring that out, that greatness. Not talk about it. I'm a god and I'm a queen. No, you're going to be that. And people will see that. They don't have to tell, you don't have to tell them your title. They will say something different about them. So let people around us know that your door is always open and you're willing to listen. You're willing to hug. You're willing to be there for them. There's no need to be so depressed. You was given life because you was found worthy. And it is worth living. We have to make it Only thing we have to do is make that life better. Jot down your comment. Let's talk about it. Until next time, y'all. Peace. Right?